Hello, Dr. Grande here. Today I will be analyzing the Netflix documentary, Sweet Bobby, My Catfish Nightmare. Sweet Bobby is a Netflix documentary that was released in October 2024. So at this time in my video, I will issue a spoiler alert for Sweet Bobby. As I was watching the documentary, I noticed that it did not always present information in a clear way, especially as far as the timeline. This makes me suspicious because it's not really that difficult to specify when things happen. Some of the events have dates or simply just years associated with them, but many did not. The order of the events is not always clear either. So not only are the dates missing, they couldn't even get the order specified. Again, kind of makes me suspicious. There was some effort in the documentary to keep some information secret, like images of certain people. I can understand that. The documentary had, overall, an unreliable and haphazard feel to it. Also, when it comes down to it, much of the story comes from the alleged victim in this case. There are no police reports or anything like that, at least none that were shared. With all this in mind, I will summarize the documentary while including some information from other sources, then offer my analysis. Harkarat Kaur Asi was born sometime around 1980 and lived in West London. She went by the name Karat. She was part of the Sikh community and worked as a radio presenter. Karat had a female cousin named Simran Bogle, who becomes important to the story. In 2010, Karat was contacted on Facebook by Simran's ex-boyfriend JJ. At least she thought she was being contacted by him. JJ wanted advice on how to win back Simran. After Karat and JJ exchanged a few messages, Karat was informed that JJ died from an allergic reaction in Kenya. In reality, JJ was still alive. Simran, again this is Karat's cousin, supplied contact information for JJ's older brother Bobby Jandu so that Karat could offer condolences. Bobby was a cardiologist from Kenya who lived in the UK. He was also a member of the Sikh community. Karat received a friend request on Facebook from Bobby, which she approved. In reality, Bobby never sent the friend request. Simran sent the friend request impersonating Bobby. To keep this narrative straight, I will refer to Simran impersonating Bobby as fake Bobby, and the actual Bobby as real Bobby. At this time, Karat had a boyfriend. She and fake Bobby became friends. In 2011, Karat actually met the real Bobby in some type of club. He did not acknowledge knowing her, but Karat didn't think much of it. She thought that he must have been drinking. This was a chance to uncover the truth, but she failed to do so. In December 2012, the real Bobby married a woman named Sanji. Fake Bobby did the same thing, mirroring the activity of real Bobby. This was probably to make sure that no conflict would occur as far as what Karat would see on social media, like Simran was trying to be careful about the story that she was weaving. In November 2013, Karat received a Facebook message saying that fake Bobby had been shot 6 times in Kenya and was in a coma. She was understandably distressed by this as the two had formed a relationship. In January 2014, Karat was informed that fake Bobby was dead. As part of the grieving process, she joined a Facebook group with 39 of Bobby's friends and relatives. In reality, all these other people were Simran. She had created these Facebook profiles using both real and fake images. With these profiles, Simran communicated with Karat. This was a lot to keep straight, but somehow Simran did it. Furthermore, she communicated with Karat as herself. She continued to have a relationship with Karat during this time. A few months after fake Bobby died, he came back to life. Karat was surprised by this development, as it is unusual. Typically, when people die, the expectation is they will remain dead. Karat received an explanation for this resurrection. Fake Bobby was in the witness protection program and living in New York City, so his death had been staged to protect his life. He had been badly injured, could not talk, and was partially paralyzed. Karat received a new Facebook profile for Bobby and was asked to keep things secret, mostly because of the attempted murder part. Two of fake Bobby's relatives, who were both actually Simran, contacted Karat and functioned as liaisons. So they were communicating with fake Bobby. They were relaying information from fake Bobby to Karat. They provided updates about fake Bobby's condition and supported Karat through this difficult time. Due to the loss of his voice, fake Bobby could only communicate through text. He told Karat that his marriage to Sanjay fell apart and they divorced. Karat also separated from her lover, so both she and fake Bobby were available. Love was in the air. Eventually, fake Bobby told Karat, "I love you." But this good news was followed by a series of unexpected tragedies. Fake Bobby had a brain tumor, a stroke, and a heart attack. He was on his deathbed in New York City. Amazingly, fake Bobby survived. It was yet another miracle. On Valentine's Day in 2015, fake Bobby officially established a romantic relationship with Karat. At some point, fake Bobby proposed, and Karat responded with an enthusiastic yes. The pair frequently communicated as they planned their wedding. Fake Bobby regained some of his voice through speech therapy, but it was still very difficult to hear him on the phone. He could only whisper, and he sounded squeaky. In surprising news, Karat was informed that Sanjay had a baby. Again, Sanjay was real Bobby's wife and fake Bobby's ex-wife. Karat was upset by this because she wanted to have a baby with fake Bobby. So here he was having a baby with his ex-wife and still not together with Karat. As this bizarre catfishing scheme continued, fake Bobby started controlling Karat, like he would make her send a selfie every morning and text him when she went to the bathroom. Karat complied because fake Bobby was in a vulnerable place as far as his mental health, and she did not want to stress him out. In 2017, Karat left her job because of all the stress of dealing with fake Bobby. Maintaining this relationship was extremely difficult for her. It was taxing. Despite this, Karat was encouraged because fake Bobby sent her gifts, like flowers. As fake Bobby's condition improved, he was released from the witness protection program. I don't think that's how that works, but this is what she was told. Karat was excited because fake Bobby was returning to Britain. Fake Bobby flew to Britain, but he would not see Karat in person because he needed some time to settle in. He was tired and otherwise not feeling well. Karat tried to catch him at a hotel and at a residence, but was not successful. In 2018, after this catfishing scheme had been going on for 8 years, Karat spoke to a private investigator and found out where the real Bobby lived. He and his wife Sanjay had a home in Brighton, about 2 hours south of London. Karat went to his home and had an uncomfortable confrontation with him. The real Bobby did not recognize Karat, and she left, but not before causing a scene. Karat spoke to Simran, who by this time realized that the catfishing scheme was disintegrating. The next day, Simran met with Karat and confessed to being fake Bobby. According to the real Bobby, Simran also confessed to him, saying that she needed counseling and did not want the police involved. Both the real Bobby and Karat notified the police anyway, but Simran had not actually broken any law in the UK, so no charges were filed. In 2020, Karat filed a lawsuit against Simran for harassment, data protection breaches, and misuse of private information. 18 months later, the case settled. Karat received damages, legal costs, and a letter of apology. When the lawsuit was still active, Simran's attorney claimed that Karat always knew that Simran was pretending to be Bobby. Simran refused to participate in the Netflix documentary. Reportedly, she used to work as a VP for a bank, but quit her job and deleted all her social media profiles. She said the situation with Karat began when she was a schoolgirl, presumably when Simran was a schoolgirl, and it was a private matter. Simran strongly objected to numerous unfounded and damaging accusations. Karat decided to come forward and tell her story to break the stigma, hold people accountable, and encourage regulation of the internet. She was not looking for sympathy. It's a good thing because, as I'll talk about, she did not really get any. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. By the time the catfishing scheme was exposed, Simran had created 60 fictional characters, all with separate social media profiles, to support fake Bobby. These supporting characters were family members, friends, and co-workers. They all interacted with Karat from slightly different perspectives and made the scam seem real. Karat believed she was receiving corroboration for all these wild stories that fake Bobby was telling. When the scam ended, Karat lost all the connections that she thought she had. Again, none of them were real, they were all Simran. Karat stated, quote, "Imagine somebody really close to you had suddenly died, and it's not one person, it's all of them. I had lost everybody. Normally, even if you lost a boyfriend, your girlfriends come and look after you," unquote. Item number 2, Simran was incredibly clever and determined. She even sent messages to Karat when they were together in person. The amount of work she must have put into this scam is staggering. Furthermore, time-consuming. There's another way to look at this, of course. This is one person communicating with another, which means that Karat was also wasting her life with this excessive communication. She didn't need to create multiple profiles like Simran did, but outside of that, they were both committing near the same amount of time. Hundreds of thousands of messages were transmitted between them. Simran may have been obsessed. However, one could make a good argument that Karat was obsessed as well. They were both engaged in a fantasy which consumed all their time. Item number 3, catfishing can be very difficult to detect. I have made other videos about impersonation cases. The insidious nature of impersonation is a real problem, especially when social media is used. Even so, Karat appeared to be exceptionally gullible. She had many clues that something wasn't quite right. Just a few examples. She maintained a relationship with fake Bobby for over 8 years, 3 of which involved romantic contact. Other than, apparently, running into the real Bobby once in a club, she had no in-person contact. Fake Bobby died and was resurrected through the Witness Protection Program. How would a British citizen who was shot in Kenya end up in the Witness Protection Program in New York City? Fake Bobby conveniently lost his voice, therefore could not talk to Karat. Eventually, when he did talk, it was in a strange, squeaky whisper. Fake Bobby never participated in a video call and had excuses for why he could not meet in person. He kept making one excuse after the other. Karat was willing to forgive all of this. She was willing to look past it. Even after supposedly returning to Britain, fake Bobby would not see Karat. What was the problem now? This seemed particularly strange. Fake Bobby used a number of manipulation tactics throughout the scam, like being controlling and possessive. So he was not only invisible, he was a bad boyfriend or a bad fiancé. Even if Karat thought that he was real, that would have been a good reason to break up. Item number 4, what do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Karat was desperate to find a romantic partner. She wanted to get married and to have children. The pressure on her was immense. As she grew older, her prospects of romantic success became increasingly remote, or at least that's what she believed. Her cousin Simran developed a bizarre desire to be in some type of relationship with Karat. It's not clear exactly what her motivation was, but it didn't seem like a mere prank. This was a serious investment of time and energy by Simran. Maybe Simran was trying to live an exciting life, almost like she was playing some type of simulation video game. Simran started a catfishing scam, which at first only involved a friendship between fake Bobby and Karat. This went on for years because there was no obvious reason for Karat to question it. There was no expectation of anything happening beyond that. When all the bizarre events started occurring in fake Bobby's life, like the death and resurrection, Karat should have known this was a scam. Any reasonable person would have. But she continued to believe. This opened the door for Simran to escalate the scam to incredible levels of complexity, including the addition of 60 supporting characters. Karat was suspicious, but at the same time desperately wanted fake Bobby to be real. She had opposing forces that were powerful. Right on each side of the equation, she was feeling the pressure. Ultimately, Karat needed to believe in fake Bobby. This case was about two obsessions intersecting, the obsession of Simran and the obsession of Karat. In the documentary, when Karat was reminiscing about her time with fake Bobby, she was smiling and seemed genuinely happy. This was one of the most disturbing parts of the documentary. She had good memories of her time with fake Bobby. One would think those memories would have been spoiled by the complex catfishing scheme. I think Karat participated in the Netflix documentary, believing that she was exposing a widespread problem and people would sympathize with her. Unfortunately, she did not do herself any favors. She presented as someone who was irrational, desperate, and unbelievably gullible. Karat did manage to expose the bizarre behavior of Simran. Certainly, Simran didn't look good in this either, but she also exposed her own willingness to believe just about anything. Now moving to my final thoughts. There are many shocking elements revealed in the Sweet Bobby documentary. The level of complexity, the extended amount of time the scam went on, the level of dedication on both ends, and the level of irrational behavior by Karat. But there's one element in particular which I think is critical. Karat was in an all-consuming romance for 3 years, but this relationship did not involve any in-person contact, video calls, or normal voice communication. Everything that Simran did could have been produced by artificial intelligence. It wasn't, but it could have been. I think this really speaks to what some people consider valuable in a relationship. What are people really looking for? Clearly, even though the romance with fake Bobby was disappointing in many ways, Karat was still getting something from it, something quite valuable. The text messages from fake Bobby contained everything that Karat needed to be hopeful about the future. It kept her world together. Her hopes were alive. Her dreams were alive. I can't help but think that if fake Bobby had another death, this time resurrection-free, Karat would have forever held fond memories about their time together, like it was some magical romance, one for the ages, one for the storybooks. He was the love of her life. People wonder if someday AI could replace human romantic partners. At least for some people, disturbingly, the answer is yes. Those are my thoughts on the Hulu documentary, Sweet Bobby, My Catfish Nightmare. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. This wild story gave me an idea about a potential video game that could be developed in the future based on AI. When I mentioned what Simran wanted out of all this, I mentioned that it was like she was in some type of simulation video game. So there could be a day where that type of game is developed because of advances in AI. One might wonder if there will be an audience for this type of game. Would somebody want to play the role of a catfisher in some type of complex simulation? I think they probably would. At least Simran, there would be one customer there. But I imagine there are a lot of people who could get lost in something like that. Almost like the games where somebody's playing a criminal, like they're robbing banks or running people over in the streets, like Grand Theft Auto or something. Maybe there could be a catfishing version of that. It would be appealing to some people who want emotional complexity rather than gunplay. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but as AI continues to develop, there will be all kinds of new potential applications. Maybe this is one of them.